Let's see. String key. Visualization. X. Okay. Let me just give this link. Sorry, I'm using Switchboard with Ecamm so that it can stream to both Facebook and YouTube at the same time, and for whatever reason LinkedIn's not working right now. So let me just give this link to people. Okay, here we go. Need to drop it into WhatsApp and then we're good. Okay, while I'm sharing this, let me just throw out all those legal disclaimers. I am not a certified financial anything. I am literally somebody who's very good at growth hacking. I work in marketing. I've been in the marketing and startup space for 12 years now. The only reason I'm here speaking today is because I made more than 400% ROI investing in crypto this year, day trading in crypto this year. And some people just wanted to know what my tricks are. I do not have a degree in finance. My undergrad degree is in medicinal and biological chemistry. So nothing to do with finance. And my, let's see, what else? And then I have my MBA from IE Business School. I did take one class in investment analysis, got an A- or an A in it. But that's literally like the extent of my financial background. So please take everything I say as a friend, just sharing what they've done that's worked for them. This is not formal advice in any way, shape, or form. Now let me just give this link to Andres and we're good. Okay, so let me start off with one question I got yesterday. Some IE alumni that I'm friends with, they were not able to make it today. And the question I got was where do I, like, which platforms do I use and which referral links can I share? I am going to share all of that in our Telegram group. We do have a Telegram group. It is called
IE Apes.
Yes, we have IE Apes. That one's not the public one though. It's 5 to 10, and I will drop it into the comment section right now so that you have access to it if you're tuning in from somewhere. And I'm going to close WhatsApp. Okay. So it's the thread where you can see all of my referral links. It's now up. It's not letting me drop it in on Facebook. So you're going to have to go to YouTube to see the link for the Telegram group. But all of the platforms that I use, along with why I like them and why I don't like them, it is all now in the 500 to 10K channel. And that's where I share kind of like news that I'm looking at and things like that. Okay, so I think that's everything. Now we can dive into here. What are your questions?
Well, a lot of them. Let's just start off exactly just for the sake of everyone's knowledge and understanding, and let's just try to keep this as simple as possible. So we can just go to the basics and then we can build up, right?
Yeah.
Let's just talk first, very basic, quickly about what exactly are cryptocurrencies, what technology are they based on, and then I'll follow it up with more additional questions.
All right. I'm probably not the best person to answer that because I know a few computer programming languages. I don't really know all of the intricacies
Yeah.
of the engineering that goes into each cryptocurrency. I, coming from a startup and marketing background, when I'm looking at the cryptocurrencies I invest in, I just quickly Google them and kind of see what sort of press coverage they've got, what the project is about. Um, I don't buy a cryptocurrency if the project doesn't make sense to me. Anytime I've purchased a cryptocurrency blindly without understanding the project, I've lost money on it. So everyone has like different backgrounds, different worldviews, and they've had different experiences. They can very easily look at like based on their personal knowledge and kind of say, okay, this crypto project makes sense to me. I think it'll be around for the long term. This one does not make sense to me. I don't want to put my money into it. Um, yeah, that's kind of how I go.
So having said that, how would you define the meme-based cryptocurrencies that have been coming up in the market lately? We have seen a new one that has come up, a name of a dog.
Yeah.
Uh, we also saw we also saw a cryptocurrency in the name of Squid Games. How do you go about maneuvering yourself when these kind of new cryptocurrencies come across? And for some of the very well established ones, for example, Bitcoin. Now, these cryptocurrencies do not have any cash flows that are coming out of it. So, how do you determine what is the right value of the cryptocurrency? How do you know you're not overpaying for an asset? In this case, a crypto asset.
Okay, so I think something to keep in mind is that with crypto, you're trading on people's sentiment. You're trading on how they feel about the currency. This isn't real estate. This isn't like mergers and acquisitions of businesses. Um, Currently, this is very much something that what I've noticed, like from my personal experience, is there could be a bad news headline. If there are two bad news headlines, I sell all of my positions because people get scared. So you're really at this point kind of trading on, yeah, there are some underlying fundamentals to it, but what's fluctuating the price right now from what I can see and from my worldview, it's really just sentiment. It's human sentiment. So for example, with Bitcoin, I don't own any Bitcoin. The few times I bought Bitcoin, tried buying some Bitcoin, it was when Elon Musk was messing with it. So I lost a significant amount of money and decided I would not try that again. Um, what I've been doing that's made me money is ignoring when people say, oh, look at this coin, look at that coin. And instead, I look at the secondary and tertiary effects of coins. So if there's a bad headline, people aren't talking about certain coins, but there are certain coins that will drop like 40%, like 50%. And so I buy those coins because what I've noticed is as soon as there's a good headline, those coins spike and recover that 50%. And that's where I've made a lot of my money, isn't going for the hype. I'm in a few of those groups where they have like signals that they give you, but anytime I've followed those signals, I've lost money because what they do is they buy it and then they tell you the signal, so it spikes up for them, and then they say, "Oh, these are our four targets," and it rarely makes it past the second target. Um, so I kind of use the signal groups to look at okay, so with these, like, what currencies are people looking at? With a lot of my cryptocurrencies, something that I've done, and it's like a self-discipline thing because it's very tempting to just like impulse buy, is when I buy a currency, um, and because of U.S. taxes, I day trade, so so I'm taxed on income rather than I don't hold long term. I know some people who hold long term, completely different ballgame, completely different strategy. Um, what I do is when I buy a crypto asset, I put a sell that's like 4 to 5x what it is when I buy it. So if someone in another country does a pump and dump at 2 in the morning and I'm sleeping, I don't miss out and I'm able to quickly sell my asset that I bought for $1 at $4 or $5. Um, with meme coins, I anytime I put more than, I try not to put more than $100 into it. With Shibu, when I first bought in, I made like 30% in one night. And so I doubled it, and then it tanked, and I was like, that was a rookie move on my part. Like, it's not a coin that's like actually doing anything. It's really just your trading sentiment analysis. And with Dogecoin, I did not put more than $30 in, and with Shibu, I actually pulled everything out because it started tanking even further. And for me, I'd rather keep the money I've made than like bet it all in the house and lose it all. And I think that's probably one of the reasons I've made a significant amount compared to some of my friends who are also have been investing in crypto, and some of them for much longer than I have. Is because I look at how I can make money off the volatility. It's like surfing. You look at the waves and they're gigantic. And you say, okay, I can ride those waves if I respect basic laws of physics. Or I could be pummeled and have a concussion if I think I'm going to try to control Mother Nature. I kind of view crypto the same way as surfing. Like, you see the wave, you have to figure out how to ride the wave, and then you just put your automatic buy and sell orders in there and let Mother Nature take its course, where in this case it's human nature. If you try to control human nature or wish that human nature would submit to your will, it's not going to end well.
Right. You rightly mentioned that there are some groups somewhere in the country that are trying to spike the price of the cryptos and at the same time dump as well.
Yeah, not so
Uh,
much in the U.S. because I'm pretty sure it's illegal here now.
yeah. Uh, but however, it still happens. The world is interconnected. It can happen from India. It can happen from Denmark. My question just comes to one fundamental understanding that we have to look at cryptos as an asset class. Do you see it sustaining? Because I see a lot of money flowing in. There's no doubt about it. We have ETFs that have come in, no doubt about it. Uh, but again, if the governments don't see it as something that is as a viable asset class, no matter how much money has gone in, do you
Hmm.
feel the governments can just stop the whole crypto game for everyone across the world, just shut it down once and for all? Do you see that happening in the near future?
I think the problem you have is that not everybody sees it as an asset class. So very few people
Yeah,
see it as an asset class, and therefore very few people treat it as an asset class. And a lot of people are kind of treating it like a game of chess where they can make money right now. It's all about game theory, pumping and dumping in countries where it's not regulated yet. It's the Wild West. So I will tell you, in the U.S., I did look at bringing a coin in for some of the stuff we wanted to do with my software company, and it was it was going to cost us about $2 million in legal fees with the SEC. So obviously, young startup, we did not move forward with that. But while it was frustrating for me at the time, I do appreciate that because you have things like the Squid Game, where it was never approved by the SEC, so I never put money into it to lose it in the first place. Um, so yeah, I mean, the regulation, it's frustrating because there are certain projects that you'd love to invest in that you can't because your government hasn't approved it or is skeptical of it or whatnot. But then at the same time, like, it is there to protect the best interest of the general population. You still have a lot of scams out there, a lot of scams that you have to be careful with. Um, yeah, I would not call it an asset class just yet. Just yet, I think it's still pretty young. I'd say, like, if you look at real estate is like a very steady
yeah,
asset, it's a tangible asset.
yeah,
Then after that, you have, if you were to try to put real estate and crypto on the same scale, I'd put
yeah,
startups somewhere in the middle because startups are slightly less risky and usually there are tangible assets to sell off in the case of bankruptcy. And with crypto,
yeah.
you have people just vanishing into the middle of the
Nice.
night. Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
why you really like I'm obviously telling you this as a friend, not this is not formal financial advice. You really want to understand the project and whether or not it makes sense to you before you put money into it. Because just throwing money at things like Squid Games or like other coins, you shouldn't bet the farm on it and be prepared to lose whatever you put in there. Yeah, if I'm
Right.
unsure about a coin, I'll put $10 in it, and then I'll just scroll through and see like how it changed over the past few weeks because I'll be able to see, okay, is that $10 now $12? Is it now $30? Or is it now $2? Um, and that just helps me to keep track on like questionable coins that people are like, oh, you have to buy this. But yeah, you have to be careful with FOMO. It's like definitely a case of like mental discipline because you want to buy into all these coins and then they crash and some of them explode and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, very rightly said. The cryptocurrencies are not yet regulated in India.
yeah,
We haven't taken a stand yet over here just for the general people to understand. But there have been the raids conducted by the income tax department. Many people in this country have been using cryptos as means and methods of evading taxes, which
okay,
is technically a primary concern
problem.
for the government in India,
Yeah,
especially when out of 1.4 billion people, barely 3 to 5% of us are paying income taxes. Very interestingly, that's a very key area where a lot of work that needs to be done. My other question to you, Adi, would be: have you had a chance to evaluate, to conduct, basically just do the math around the correlation of Bitcoin or Ethereum or any one of those cryptocurrencies against different asset classes? It could be equities or bonds, just to understand that how are the prices correlated? Like, say, for example, if equity goes up, does Bitcoin go down because there's movement of cash that is happening in and out of the asset class? Are you seeing these kind of moves as well?
I have not gotten that granular yet because just looking at news headlines and not even reading the article, just looking. So I used to read the articles, so waste time on it. Now I know, like at this point, I've been playing around since May with this. Um, I now I can just look at the news headlines and say, okay, yeah, I should buy something today or I should sell something today. That's like that's how volatile it is right now.
Yeah, yeah,
You don't really have to get super granular, and I think that's one of the things that's made this easier for me than stocks. Like with the stock market, there's so many tiny nuances that can totally flip a stock overnight, and you don't even know about them until you wake up and your portfolio is like a fifth of what it was in the morning, like or yesterday. And with crypto, it's like the indicators are very obvious right now. Like a couple days ago, or sometime last week or the week before, um, I saw a news headline that the SEC found a pathway to regulate crypto, to crack down on crypto, and then there was a news headline that Dubai did the same thing with their local government. And I was like, it's going to be a red day. Like, so I sold everything, everything I had. And by the next day, we woke up to a totally, and I told everyone in the group, I was like, hey guys, there were two, I always like sell when there are two negative headlines. There were two negative headlines this morning. I'm selling. I don't know if you want to follow my lead on this, but this is what I'm doing. And someone posted in the group, I wish I had followed your lead because everything dropped. But I'm like, for me, this is fun. This is a hobby. This is not like making me. I started by putting $500 in. This is not like me putting my life savings in there. So for me, it's like a game to see how much money I can make. So if I see anything like shaky that it's going to go down, I'm pulling out. Sometimes I pull out too early and it picks back up. I bought, I think, $1,000 worth of COMP last week, and I sold it when it got to 340 because I saw it starting to go down again. I bought it at 300, and this morning, it went up to 380. Now I can kick myself for months, but that I didn't hold it till 380. Or I could say, well, at least I sold it before it tanked back to 100, which it does sometimes. So, and that's kind of the way that I sort of take it. Yeah.
So the bottom line is that it's just all about reading the public sentiment. just
Yeah.
follow what the governments are doing across the world,
Yeah.
uh, and you can just trade. It's not as complicated as investing in equity, where you have to understand what the business is doing, uh, kind of go through the financial numbers, understand their marketing strategy, distribution strategy, future
um,
plans,
okay.
cash flows.
Marketing strategy, I will tell you, um, because I've been doing this for 12 years, I can like look at their Twitter account for 2 minutes and figure out what their marketing strategy is. If they're investing enough time and energy into marketing, um, I can tell you like, okay, this is a team that's going to be around for a while, or it's not. And that is something that I do take into account. But you have to keep in mind that for me, it takes 2 minutes to assess somebody's marketing strategy. So I don't have to dive into the minutia of it because I've just been in that industry for so long. That's where it's the whole like one up on Wall Street concept where if you're in a
Yeah,
certain sector for so long, what is that book? Blink. A professional can there's a book called Blink where they say like
yeah,
a
yeah,
professional can walk in and they'll see a pattern and in 2 seconds be able to tell you the outcome. And a novice has to
yeah,
come in and look at the same pattern for like weeks before they can figure out what the outcome's going to be. Yeah, I can with the coins that I invest in, I look at Google search engine results for like before I buy into it. I'm looking at okay, what is ranking with their name? Where are they ranking with their name? So that tells me how much they've invested in their SEO channel, their organic channel, which is usually the last place people invest and it's the most expensive, takes the longest to get results. And so just like looking at the Google results very quickly tells me a lot about the company just because I've worked with SEO for so long. Um,
right.
yeah, so I guess there are some like reading between the line things that I do. I have a friend. We're on the board of this one organization together. He's an engineer in the crypto industry, and when he looks at projects, he reads between completely different lines, but he'll get to the same conclusion of oh I'll finish answering for everyone's on. He'll get to the same conclusion of who is worth investing in and which projects are not worth investing in. Hopefully Mihir will join back in a second. Otherwise, we can jump to questions from the audience. Okay.
I'm audible.
Yep, we lost you for a second. Okay, so what's up? It's not letting me switch you around. Okay, you're
I
gonna
can
have to
hear
be
you.
on that
I
side.
think that's
Can
fine.
can you hear me?
Yep, fine.
Okay, awesome. Um, and anyone that's tuning in on Facebook, I'm sorry, but I cannot see your comments. You're gonna have to drop them into the Telegram channel. If you're tuning in via YouTube, you can drop your questions into the comment section, and I'm able to see them. All right, go ahead. What else do you have?
Um,
You're
well,
realizing.
no, so one of the key things that just trying to get my head around, very often I have had arguments with some of my folks who are investing in cryptos for a very long time, probably 5 years or so, and have made tons of money. They very often claim that cryptos are going to be Bitcoin essentially is going to be used as a currency going forward. And use the kind of volatility that you're seeing right now is something that's not going to happen once there is greater acceptability of Bitcoins in the system.
Yeah,
They also envision a world where the central banks are going to be irrelevant. And the whole centralized system in every country where the government is printing money, as we all have seen in the last 15 years or so, is going to come to an end. They see it as a means to create a more equitable world. But if I look at what is happening right now, the rich can definitely buy tons of bitcoins or from
yeah.
any of the cryptocurrencies they want. They can keep getting as rich as they want. I just want to get your understanding on this. Do you see this as a currency? Do you see crypto or rather Bitcoin being able to replace dollar The reason why I ask this is because if you just go and listen to what Ray Dalio or anyone who knows finance, who understand currencies, they have to say is a country's greatest economic power or a world dominant status is not via military means, but is its ability to print as much currency as it wants and yet have that acceptability in the world. And this is what has allowed US to come out of recessions, 2008 recession, and also the COVID pandemic. Just wanted to get your understanding if you see cryptocurrencies moving in that direction, especially Bitcoin.
I think the problem you have with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin right now, obviously people believe in it. Obviously they're emotional about it. If it's currently valued at what, $63,000 as of this morning.
Yeah,
Um, and so obviously that tells you, um, when people kind of like, they like to pretend there's like this demonic hand that's
yeah,
not letting currencies get as high as they can. No, be real. Somebody buys in at a certain price, and then at some point in the future, they decide it's reached a price where they've made enough of the profit that they're happy with. They want to go home, so they sell. That's really all it
yeah,
is. It's like it's not this crazy, complicated Machiavellian person with a black hand behind the scenes controlling things and doing whatnot. You do have some wealthy people who are, where's Bitcoin's at 61.2 right now. Um, you do have some wealthy people who they'll buy a substantial stake, wait to get until it gets to a certain point, and then they drop it all because they've made enough, or they have another investment they want to go into. Maybe there's a business they want to buy. There are things behind the scenes going on. That is one of the reasons that like I don't buy coins that don't make sense to me, because if the project makes sense to me, I know that even if there's a sudden drop like that, if I believe that it's going to come back up, then I put substantial money into it.
mm,
To say that Bitcoin is going to replace the US dollar, I mean, maybe when we have hoverboards and things like that as our main means of transportation. Um, but to have cryptocurrency, there are some projects. I'm from the startup space. I've worked in marketing in the startup space for 12 years. How I view it is the same as the startup space. Some startups come out the gate with a lot of promise and they're dead in a
yeah,
year. Some come out of the
yeah,
gate with a lot of promise and they're dead in 5 years. Some come out
yeah,
of the gate and they IPO in 5 years. Like
yeah,
you, yeah, to speak on which currencies I think are going to last the 5 years or last 10 years, I'd have to look into the psychology of the founders, figure out what their 10-year goals are, things like that. Why did they launch that coin? What is their hope for that coin? Are there people in place to continue the project if something happens to the founder? Like you have all these things to look at before you can say like a currency is definitely going to replace the US dollar. For
yeah,
Bitcoin in particular, and as far as volatility goes, I would definitely agree. I think the volatility is going to die down. Once the volatility dies down, your opportunity to make lots of profit will also go away.
yeah,
That's why,
yeah,
again, for me, this is fun. This is not like, I'm not looking at this as like anything where I could quit my corporation and go become a day trader of crypto, simply because I don't think it's going to be this volatile and profitable for that long. Like, and once the volatility goes away, it'll be a great place where people store their money. In the U.S., the federal government, the FDIC, only backs $250,000 in your bank account. So if you have anything over that and something happens to the bank, your money's gone.
yeah,
If
yeah,
crypto becomes more stable, you'll see people doing more of what Tesla did, where they parked a lot of their cash in the Bitcoin asset,
yeah,
just because it's more secure than a U.S. bank after the first quarter million. So I think you can see more of that happening. It's easier to move your money in and out of crypto. So if and when it becomes more stable, I think you'll see more and more people using it as a
I know.
cash yeah, a safe harbor for extra cash, because right now it's things like real estate, which, yeah, it's great to store the millions that you have for your corporation in a building, but it doesn't take 2 months
Yeah,
to sell that building. So while the
yeah,
money is safe, you can't really,
yeah,
like, if
yeah.
you need that cash
Absolutely.
tomorrow to acquire another company, you don't have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait, you keep mentioning you study projects of different cryptocurrencies. Can you
Yeah.
give us examples of two projects that you've just looked at recently, which you feel are promising, and why do you feel they are promising compared to the other ones that you've looked at?
I'll give you a couple. I'm not going to share all of them because every time I share the ones that I'm investing in, somebody like ends up screwing up my plays there, and I go from making 50% to making like 4%. Um, I'll tell you, for example, REP. I'm store all of the coins in my brain by their abbreviation, so that's how I'm referring to them. Um, the coin REP, I used to make very consistently. It would drop to like between $15 and $16. I would buy it, and then it would shoot up to like $30, and I would sell it. And then I shared in our group, oh, you guys should get in on this coin. And since then, it has not dropped below like $20, and the highest it goes is $24 because people decided that if I sell it at 30, they should sell it at 25. Yeah. So, another one that I was trading consistently for a while was Dash, because it used to drop to like 170 and then it would jump to 240. And then after I told people that I was doing Dash, it's dropped to 170, but it doesn't go above like 204, 210. Um, yeah, so I look at coins first. The way that I hear about new coins is in the signal groups. Once I see a coin mentioned quite a few times in a signal group, I put it on my favorites. In my exchange list. And then what I started doing in May, I remember listening to this one guy. He's like, for self-made wealthy people, all of their hobbies are make them money. And I was like, so when the crash happened in May, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put some money into crypto, and I'm just gonna run an experiment for a month. Every time I'm taking a break and I look at my phone, instead of looking at social media, I'm gonna look at the exchanges.
Crypto. Yeah.
And I made more than 180% in the first week, just
Wow.
switching from
Wow.
Instagram to crypto exchanges like Binance and all of those. Um, and then I was like, okay, yeah, I can see some value in not looking at Instagram for a little while. And what I did is I saved coins to my favorites list, and I would just scroll through a few times a day to see where they were at. And after like a week or two, you start to notice patterns and correlations
Yeah.
because your brain
Yeah.
just remembers patterns.
Fix them.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So after like a couple, there are coins like I'll see mentioned in the signals group. I'll add them to my favorites list, and then just keep an eye on them over the next few weeks. See what they correlate to. What indicators do I have that they're going to spike or dump? And then once I've kind of figured out the pattern or figured out a pattern that I can trade on, then I'll put money into that coin, or I'll set a buy order for the next time it drops, and then I kind of leave it there. But something else I do is I have the automatic buy and automatic sell orders because otherwise I get bored and I want something to happen, and I just buy like I just go online after a meeting. I'm like, I want to buy something, and I buy it on emotion, and then I lose that money on emotion. And you have to keep your emotions in check. You have to say, okay, these indicators will cause it to drop to this area. This is where I'm going to buy in. Leave the buy and sell orders automatically in there and just let it do its thing. Yeah.
Great. Well, I don't have any more questions for now.
Okay.
Do you want to keep it? You just want to see what the audience wants to clarify. I want to know more about
Um,
crypto trading.
so we just had Somebody asked, have you ever invested in Bloktopia? What do you think of the project? How would you trade it? And any in NFT investments. I have not invested in Blocktopia. I actually have only seen it, that symbol mentioned a few times in the signals. And I am not in NFTs at all. They don't make sense to me. I don't understand them, and I don't put my money into things I don't understand. So that's kind of my sentiment on NFTs. I know like it's all the rage and people are loving it, but I have not made that jump yet. Yeah.
Great.
All right.
Do you want to give any closing comments in terms of what do you see as a future? Do you think in terms of trading or in terms of whatever, just generally whatever your views are about crypto. Just quick closing statements, and that would be great for every one of you.
Yeah. I think so. Cointrends.com. I'm going to share their channel in the comments. This is one that I follow. And I really like the news they share there is pretty easy. For me, again, this is a hobby. Like I have a full-time job. I have a family. I don't have like a lot of time to spend reading through articles day after day. So they give some really nice bite-size news. So I follow their news, their headlines. Um, there are a few other channels, but I think the biggest thing, again, advice as a friend, not as a financial advisor in any way, shape, or form. The biggest thing is just if it makes sense to you, consider it. If it does not make sense to you, like why are you putting your money into that? Don't bet the farm. Um, when there's new coins, I only put between $10 and $100 into them. I don't put like thousands. I have to be very familiar with a coin's pattern before I put more than like $200 into it, $300 into it. And I don't look at the coins. Some people get emotional about certain coins. I look at the volatility of the coin. By what percentage does it change? It doesn't matter if it drops $100 if the coin's worth thousands. And like with Bitcoin, the coin has to change so much in price for me to make a 50% return on any investment I put in there. I look at coins that have like, excuse me, that where they drop, they fluctuate by anywhere from 20 to 40% consistently, and those are the coins that I pick. But yeah, I don't know. Is that helping? You're now going to get on everyone's Twitter feeds.
Nope, it's pretty much no, definitely, no, definitely.
Yeah.
I think the very fact you do not come from a finance background and yet have been able to achieve 400% ROI is fairly commendable. Uh,
I feel
and
like we
also been
move
able
on
to get
at
your
my
head around
rates.
cryptos. No, so honestly, I have been wanting to do this,
Yeah.
but I have not started trading. Firstly, because I'm very scared about how the government is going to crack down on crypto. Uh, Suddenly, they just come out with the mandate and tell the banks that if you have, you're not supposed to transfer any funds from the bank account to the crypto trading platforms or from crypto trading platforms to the banks. So money is freezed in one place.
Yeah.
Okay, so these kind of things have happened. Uh, Again, we have issues with China going on.
Yeah.
So we have always found some links where money is getting funneled to China via cryptos.
Yeah.
So it's very scary for me, firstly, to start trading sitting out of India. That's one. Number two is because I come from a very strong finance background. The very fact
Wait.
that
For everyone tuning in, he is a master in finance from IE Business School, and I think he got it when they were ranked number 2 in the world or something like that. So
Three.
when he says strong
Yeah.
finance background, it's not like he got a financial certificate online. Okay,
Yeah.
now go ahead.
Yeah. So the very fact that an asset is not generating any cash, so I don't have any ways to value it, which is fine. Dollar doesn't generate any cash. Any national currencies don't generate cash,
Mm,
but you have drivers in place that is determining its value, right? It's maybe the economic growth, affecting the inflation, which is affecting the value of your currency. Then there is people having jobs, again determining the value of currency. So
yeah,
everything is very well connected to, come up with a number, an intrinsic value for a currency or
yeah.
any asset class. But as far as cryptos are concerned, you, I just can't get my head around
You're gonna have
where
to
I can
change your
say
mental
that.
model. You're gonna have to change your mental model because one of the things in marketing is we view people's emotions as dollar signs. So when someone's
Yeah,
emotional about a brand, to me that's a dollar. That's a currency. I have a numeric value on people's emotions. When you're coming from the finance space, you don't put a numeric value on people's emotions. And I think that's one of the things that's helped me in crypto is that when people are getting emotional and they have the armies on Twitter and things like that, for me that converts to dollars because in marketing for startups that converts to dollars. So I see their marketing efforts in dollar signs. And that's how I'm able to say, okay, this crypto is worth more because of the emotional fuel or currency of its
yeah,
followers.
yeah,
And you're going to have to learn that pattern. I don't know. That's actually a very hard pattern to learn, and it took me a while to learn it.
yeah,
So there's no like book I can give you that's like when there are 5,000 followers on Twitter posting at this frequency, it is worth $10. Like there is no. It's just like a pattern you learn over the years.
yeah.
It's like the pizza guy who goes in, smells the dough, and is like that dough won't rise, right, or something like that. You
Yeah.
can't you can't put like a yeah. I think if I was not a marketer and I was a finance person trying to look at crypto, that'd be really tough.
No, so that's exactly my point has been. I absolutely agree with the blockchain technology. I think it's sure, definitely revolutionizing the way fintech, financial services sector has been. Even the agri-tech sector in India is changing thanks to blockchain again. But when someone comes and sells me the idea that Bitcoin is going to be the currency, it's very tough for me to get my head around it. I always feel the governments will never let go of this control. And as a substitute, I feel they will come up with their own digital currency. So,
Yeah.
just for the audience to know, Europe and China are leading the way in testing out digital euro or digital yuan, uh,
In the U.S., though,
which I think,
we also have them. We have USDT, which is backed by absolutely
right,
nothing, and we have the BUSD.
okay,
Yeah. Um,
yeah,
but to your point, yeah, I don't see Bitcoin coming in and being the currency simply because the governments don't have control over that, and governments have spent hundreds of thousands of years figuring out how to control the masses. So I see Bitcoin being a currency in that, like, companies following what Tesla does, where when there's less
yeah,
volatility, them using it as a safe haven for cash. Um, if you have excess cash on the books and it's not insured by the FDIC, why keep it in a bank account when you can keep it
right,
in a cold storage wallet where it's actually secured? Um, but in terms of like us having one world currency and it being Bitcoin, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
yeah,
we,
yeah.
we'd,
No,
we'd
I
have to have
absolutely
the
agree.
apocalypse. Who knows?
Yeah,
Elon
absolutely.
Musk is going to
Yeah.
Mars. Maybe he makes Bitcoin the currency there.
True.
But,
True.
yeah.
I don't think I have any other questions. Anything else from the audience?
Um, there was just one question about NFTs that we already answered. I think that's it. Um, oh,
Great.
just closing remarks for everyone. We did this as a one-time, fun, off-topic thing, um, where we're opening the kimono, answering questions. Everyone I talked to beforehand, I already told you there will be one time, 1 hour in my life where I will answer all of your crypto questions, and after that, I am going back to marketing full time. That is what I get paid to do. That is my profession. That is where I make the most money. And so uh, if you have any other questions about crypto, I would highly recommend you find somebody who works in the crypto space and you bring those questions to them, because this is not my occupation and I'm not certified and I was just doing this as a friend. All right, cool. So, no more questions. Everyone else gets to bring their questions to other crypto people. Feel free to join us
Great.
on Telegram. Um, I share when I'm making moves, I share them there, and that's kind of about it. Anything you want to add? Maybe Mahir will be your crypto advisor a year from now. When he's found some
I hope so.
numerical correlation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fairly interesting. I think that's something I'm going to do probably next week.
Okay.
Just want to understand how cryptos trade against other major asset classes. It just tells you if the world is going down, how are the cryptos behaving,
Yeah.
and like other way around.
Then whatever you
Especially,
find, share in IE apes.
I will. Especially, you need to know the correlation between cryptos and gold.
Yeah.
Gold tends to go up uh, when the world is collapsing. So very interesting to look at how it behaves against gold and also against dollar.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Definitely a good point. All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning
Great
in.
guys, thank you so much.
Bye. Take
Bye.
care.
Take care.